Welcome to the Bible Storyteller. In the beginning, God created a perfect world. Adam and Eve lived in the Garden of Eden, a paradise filled with lush trees, vibrant plants, and flowing rivers. The garden was a place of beauty and peace, where they enjoyed direct communion with God and each other. They had everything they needed. Among all the trees in the garden, God had placed one that was different, the tree of the knowledge of good and evil. God gave Adam and Eve only one command: they must not eat from that tree. For if you do, God said, you will surely die. For a time, Adam and Eve obeyed. They lived in harmony with God's command, enjoying the bounty of the garden. But then, one day, a cunning serpent appeared. The serpent, which was more crafty than any of the wild animals, approached Eve. It spoke to her in a voice filled with deceit. Did God really say, "You must not eat from any tree in the garden"? Surprised, Eve responded, "We may eat from the trees in the garden, but God said we must not eat from the tree that is in the middle, or touch it, or we will die." The serpent, knowing how to twist the truth, said to her, "You will not surely die. God knows that when you eat from it, your eyes will be opened, and you will be like God, knowing good and evil." Eve looked at the fruit of the tree. It was beautiful, desirable, and promised wisdom. The temptation grew stronger as she contemplated the serpent's words. She reached out, plucked the fruit, and took a bite. The sweet taste of the forbidden fruit filled her mouth. Eve then gave the fruit to Adam, who was with her. He too ate, and in that moment, their eyes were opened. For the first time, they felt shame. They realized they were naked and hurried to cover themselves with fig leaves. What was once a life of pure innocence had now been stained by the knowledge of good and evil. Later that day, they heard the sound of God walking in the garden, as he often did. But instead of rushing to meet him, Adam and Eve hid among the trees, ashamed of their actions. They could no longer stand in his presence with the same innocence they once had. God called out, "Where are you?" Adam, trembling, replied, "I heard you in the garden, and I was afraid because I was naked, so I hid." God asked, "Who told you that you were naked? Have you eaten from the tree I commanded you not to eat from?" Adam, unable to take full responsibility, blamed Eve. "The woman you put here with me, she gave me some fruit from the tree, and I ate it." And Eve, too, shifted the blame, saying, "The serpent deceived me, and I ate." God then pronounced judgment. To the serpent, he said, "Because you have done this, cursed are you above all livestock and wild animals. You will crawl on your belly and eat dust all the days of your life. And I will put enmity between you and the woman, and between your offspring and hers. He will crush your head, and you will strike his heel." To Eve, God said, "I will greatly increase your pains in childbearing. With pain, you will give birth to children. Your desire will be for your husband, and he will rule over you." And to Adam, God said, "Because you listened to your wife and ate from the tree, cursed is the ground because of you. Through painful toil, you will eat food from it all the days of your life. By the sweat of your brow, you will eat your food until you return to the ground, for dust you are, and to dust you will return." Then, God made garments of skin for Adam and Eve to cover them, but he also sent them out of the Garden of Eden, never to return. An angel with a flaming sword was placed at the entrance to guard the way to the tree of life. This story shows us a powerful lesson. Choices have consequences. We all face choices in life, some small, others monumental. When we give in to temptation or make decisions that go against what we know is right, we often face negative consequences. The fall of man reminds us of the importance of living with integrity and making decisions that honor our values and our relationship with God. It's important to recognize that we, too, face temptations every day. Temptation can come in many forms, whether it's the temptation to act out of anger, to take shortcuts, or to seek selfish gains. Think about the areas in your life where you feel tempted to make choices that might not align with your values or God's teachings. Where do you feel pulled away from doing what you know is right? Just like Adam and Eve, we sometimes hear the voice of the serpent, those subtle whispers that challenge our integrity. But here's the good news. We can make better decisions. We can choose to walk in alignment with God's will. One way to do this is by asking yourself, is this decision honoring to God and to my values?